Short version, yes. The Rodgers situation is making the Steelers locker room feel fragile right now. Not because one veteran is loud, but because his noise is amplifying faults that were already there. An offense that's cooled off, a thin margin atop the division, and a roster built for a short window that can't afford long pauses for chemistry or confidence work. What we actually saw Sunday wasn't scandal so much as symptom. Rodgers' visible frustration, grimaces on throws, that animated sideline reactions, reads badly on TV, and TV magnifies everything. But those moments matter because they're not happening in a vacuum. A 41-year-old QB on a one-year deal who's publicly hinted retirement and who's struggling to find rhythm turns every glare into a headline, and every headline becomes a locker room pressure test. Young players absorb it differently than veterans. The same scowl that inspires one teammate can deflate another. Why this feels unstable. 1. Timing. The Steelers are 5-4 after a 4-1 start. Division leads evaporate fast. There's little runway for error. Emotional flare-ups become fuel for narratives about collapse when the standings tighten. 2. Contract uncertainty. Rodgers being on a one-year deal and reportedly musing about retirement creates an existential ambiguity. Are we building around him or just trying to win now? That ambiguity seeps into play calling, roster construction, and personnel confidence. 3. Performance mismatch. Rodgers' body of work this season has been up and down. When a veteran's production dips, his vocal leadership looks less like earned critique and more like finger-wagging, even if intentions are good. That perception matters. What the Steelers need to do immediately: contain the narrative. Coaches and leaders must publicly and privately recenter the room. Clear expectations, no public witch hunts, and a short list of actionable fixes the players can own. Protect the QB more. If Rodgers is losing rhythm because of pressure or poor protection, fix the line or quicken the release. Small schematic tweaks, more quick game, quicker reads, simpler checkdowns can both help Rodgers and reduce the visible frustration. Manage usage and minutes. Don't let defensive fatigue pile up. If offense can't sustain drives, the D wears down and tempers fray. Time of possession matters emotionally as much as practically. Clarify the future privately. Rodgers doesn't need and probably won't give a public commitment, but the front office should have a private plan and communicate it to core players so they aren't guessing the organizational timeline. What to watch next? Week-by-week signals, Rodgers' body language and post-game answers. Does he sound settled or unsettled? Offensive script? Are coaches simplifying the plan to get quick completions and confidence plays? Locker room cohesion. Are veteran leaders beyond Rodgers seen calming the room? Organizational moves in January. If the Steelers begin to hedge for 2026 in the middle of the season, that's an admission the short window plan failed. Final thought, locker rooms are ecosystems. A single high-profile player can stabilize them or destabilize them depending on context. Rodgers has earned the right to be blunt, and his competitiveness can still lift this team. But right now, his reactions are a mirror showing deeper issues: confidence, protection, clarity of plan. If the Steelers treat this like a coaching problem and a short list of tactical fixes, rather than a narrative to be fought in the media, they still have a good chance to steady themselves and reclaim momentum. If they don't, what started as visible frustration could calcify into a season-ending unravel. If you want, I can draft a short locker room message Kafka or the front office could use to quiet the noise. Tight, honest, and actionable. Want that?